Do you ever feel like giving up on the first try? Same. Before I made this piece, I was so ready to move on to another reference because let me tell you, I started this reference and I should have gave up when I saw the seeds and saw that they were smaller than the actual pastel themselves. But I'm gonna give it another try because maybe this pomegranate was just showing me its bad side, you know? Because I wasn't ready to give up on the pomegranate. There was potential there. We just had to get personal with one another. And I had already made up everything else to make the palette work with one another. But before we did that, I looked at my previous pieces. For the most part, I like when my pieces are centered, they look somewhat realistic, and they have shadow. And after searching far and wide,
Yikes, yikes, yikes.
I found it. After a long discussion, we sat down and we made a deal. I would draw her good side only if she would not be moving, because if any of you have ever tried looking at a reference on your computer, you know that if you move your mouse, it will zoom in and zoom out of the image. So I was like, that's not happening, okay? Just not happening. Okay, friends, since we're at this part, the part that you've been looking forward to, which is the part that is me starting to actually do something about achieving the second piece, I want to say that for this piece, I don't necessarily do anything different as my prior videos. I think if anything, I tried to apply a circular motion for my pastels for the first layer to see if it changed anything. And I feel like if you go into circular motions, the moment you use the stump, it kind of goes against it, and then you end up blending it out later anyways. So I don't think the motion that you apply your pastels in really matters unless you're just gonna not blend with the stump, then I think it's okay. But during this process, I also realized that the reason that my previous piece failed was because I didn't really distinguish the lights from the darks because I didn't have enough space to do it. And you would think that by now I would know that because I've done this how many times? 9 times, and I keep telling myself that I can't focus on the details because of how small my canvas is. However, it's okay because I'm hoping that after this time we'll take that in consideration. I also do want to say that for my previous piece that I made for the only coloring in blue, during that whole process I wasn't really in love with that idea. I think I really like the challenge itself, but seeing that I don't have enough supplies and I'm trying to use my index cards, it does make things very challenging, but to the point where I kind of had to bend the rules. So I realized that I shouldn't be picking something because it meets another challenge of mine. Maybe just focus on making stuff consistently that I actually like and that you enjoy. I chose the pomegranate because I also noticed you guys really like the pear version that I made. However, for this one, I did want to give the background some color and I wanted to make sure that it was maybe, I don't know, just positioned differently, and I think overall it worked. I think sometimes if I stare at it too long, it kind of looks like an onion, but it's not an onion, I swear. I'm just gonna go ahead and make this how I envision it and hope that it works out well. And I also say that I'm starting to like the idea of applying too much marker around the edges because someone did comment that it does give it character, and ever since I read that I was like, you know what, that is very true, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it how it is. I will say that for the background, one of my favorite things to do is to fill it in as quickly as possible because in my brain, if it's filled in, then that means I'm 50% done, so I'm like halfway there. And then the next part that my brain tries to focus on is like the main overall piece, and the final things I procrastinate about are usually the details, which is the stem of this pomegranate, because I am so scared that I'll mess it up and ruin the whole piece. And if I decided that I am going to focus on it for the remainder of the video, or however long I decide to focus on it, then it's the last thing and I don't have to worry about everything else. Let me know if you enjoyed the intro. I feel like I really enjoyed the intro, but let me know if you enjoyed it. Is it too many, is it too many cats? Because if you didn't get the hint, I'm kind of obsessed with cats. AKA, I only have one cat and I'm trying to get another one. I'm hoping to do like a piece on my cat, but I don't know how to do that because I'm not really good with anatomy or shapes or anything of such, so I'm not sure if I could pull it off. Let me know your favorite TV shows. I feel like if we start conversating about our TV shows, then I'm gonna have a lot of fun creating conversation. Since we're talking about TV shows, I'll just let you know what TV show I'm currently watching. I am currently watching... couldn't even tell you. That's how terrible it is. I'm watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, mostly because I've been seeing a lot of edits of the new movie they're making, and I don't have enough information to really share. I've just seen a bunch of edits, and I've been absolutely in love with them. Another show that I've been watching is Pursuit of Jade. I didn't know that they had recently added that onto Netflix. I wasn't aware of that situation. I thought it had been in there for a long time. So I recently started watching it and I've been obsessed. However, I already finished it because I've been kind of cheating, as in I've been speed running through the episodes, mostly because the only characters that I genuinely like are the main characters. They've got some good side characters, but I mostly just want to know what the main characters are doing, you know? So that's about it. Let me know what shows you watch or what shows you're interested in. The other show that I was watching was Supernaturals, but I deleted it at Amazon Prime and I haven't logged back into it, so I haven't been watching that. But usually, if I were to let my audios play the background sound, it would be one of those 3 shows. My current dilemma throughout these pieces is I am slowly running out of my white pastel. However, going to my closest retail stores, I have not found any place that sells the pastels individually. They usually come in a packet. I don't know if it's because they're not very common. Most common I feel like is pencils or markers or paint. So I'd have to probably get something on Amazon, but then I know as soon as I open Amazon and I go to buy something, it's gonna be a whole cart full later. So I'm gonna try to do as much as I can with what I have left. But if you have seen my white pastel, you know that thing looks like it's been through all of the colors. And it's mostly because I peeled the papers off at some point. I only did to a couple after seeing what happened. And if you're thinking about peeling the paper off your pastels, please don't. That's also when my gloves get really bad, because I'm sitting there messing with the pastel. After several layers of blending, negotiating, I'm very pleased with the final piece. I will be honest though, I was somewhat scared that this wouldn't turn out, especially for the second time, because after finding a different angle of this reference, you know, seeing how beautiful it actually is and seeing all the colors come together, I was worried that if I had any extra details that I didn't account for, it would go back into the drain. But I was very confident once I saw that the image did have some similar things as my previous references. Now, this is officially my 10th oil piece, and I'm very excited because now I'm starting to understand my do's and don'ts with this process, but I'm also feeling like I'm lacking something. Like I'm on level 2, but I don't know how to level up to level 2 because I've been doing the same thing. However, I've been rambling too much, so I'm just gonna wrap it up and say I'm looking forward to level 2 because I think it's time for me to up my game and learn more about pastels and not fall into buying stuff, which I've been good for majority of the part. Thank you so much for staying and taking the time to watch this video. Any tools and supplies I've used will be in the description. And overall, I hope this inspires you to try again, even if you feel like your reference is kind of catfishing you, okay? Or showing their bad angles. Sometimes we just start off with the wrong foot. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!